Is the adidas Trionda here, the new adidas Jabulani, which is the legendary World Cup football from 2010 that had this completely crazy, unpredictable movement that players, and especially goalkeepers, really hated.
Since the launch of the Trionda, I have been bombarded by this question, probably because it's being discussed in a video that's doing the rounds, which is based off a scientific article that was posted back in June, which is weird because this just came out now. But anyways, that's discussing the geometrical shapes of the balls, also looking at how a regular 32-panel shaped football is based off a so-called truncated icosahedron, whereas the Trionda here is based off a tetrahedron, so a triangle. And that kind of compares to the Jabulani, which is based off a truncated tetrahedron. Look, I'm not claiming to be some sort of geometrical super scientist here, but a truncated tetrahedron and a tetrahedron, they sound kind of similar. So is Trionda also complicated to play with? No. Not to the same extent at least. Look, the Jabulani had a mostly smooth surface, bits of micro-texturing and these shallow grooves in a few places, whereas Trionda has a lot of big debossed grooves. And that means that when the Jabulani flies through the air and the air starts to move up and around the ball, the smooth surface doesn't really grab the air, meaning that it just continues over and under the ball, leaving this kind of low pressure vacuum zone behind it. And that vacuum kind of goes in to drag the ball, significantly reducing its speed and potentially also causing it to move quite unpredictably. Now on the Trionda here, you will see the debossed grooves and all the little texture actually starting to grab the air a lot more as it spins and flies through the air. That kind of fills up that low pressure vacuum zone behind the ball, which allows Trionda to travel a lot faster and with a much more reliable and predictable flight pattern. So the grooves matter. And that's not to mention that they have a wildly different feel to them as well. Trionda feels slightly more cushioned and has a bit more weight behind it compared to the slightly lighter and more pingy feel of the Jabulani. So is this a new Jabulani, the second coming of the crazy legendary ball? Honestly, no, not really. And chances are that if you mess up, it's probably your technique that's the problem more than the football. I'm just saying.